Brayton is out. What's going on? Welcome to the Instant Classic Wrestling Podcast, the only podcast that is always an instant classic.
I thought you was gonna stop for a second. Let me come in and say, and I mean always, and then you say, no.
Nah.
I thought it was like a tag team. You know what I'm saying? Like the tag in. No.
I mean,
it's like a blind tag. I tried to.
When you do a blind tag, you gotta let me know you're doing it. Like,
no, but it's not how a blind tag works at all. That's the opposite of a blind tag, actually. Like,
but I ain't even felt it though. Like, I gotta feel it. You know, if I don't feel it, I don't know you tagged me. And then the ref get in there, and then it breaks down.
Still, you don't even really have to feel it for it to still be a blind tag, though. Like, there's many blind tags that they don't know that happened, but it happened.
But then I don't know you tagged me, and then we all confused, and I'm like, why are you in the ring right now?
And speaking of, since we are back on the camera here, I had to bring out the greatest belt of all time. Since we are indeed back. It's nice to be back. You know, it is. It's not. Oh, sorry, this is your show. You go ahead.
No, it's fine. You do you. Anyway, this is the worst picture ever. We're back. Before we get into this, we do have some updates. Obviously, this week we're not doing TNA because TNA decides to, at the end of the year, do 2 weeks of recaps that we don't need to review because we already saw that. TNA, get on this.
Technically, we already reviewed it, so
yeah, like we don't need to see 2 weeks of reviews. Like one's fine, that's cool, but we don't need to. Also, hopefully sometime before the new year, we are going to have our annual Slammies. We doing it. WWE don't do it no more, but we doing it. So that'll be hopefully sometime before the end of the year. Probably not with our schedule. DJ giving me a weird look. I don't know. But we are back for our first episode of what is he doing with his camera? Of the Overreaction. As we talked about in the past, is going to be a weekly, I guess, show where we kind of call out other wrestling fans. There are things that wrestling fans do and say that kind of ruin the fun of wrestling. And we have to admit,
just a quick caveat, and non-wrestling fans occasionally.
Yes, and non-wrestling fans, we will be calling them out too. And these are some things that we've done in the past too, so we can't completely, put them, on blast. We kind of got to be like, admittedly, we done this too. I've chanted CM Punk at a show. Everybody else was doing it. I felt like do it.
Shameful. I chanted yes at a show. What that?
I chanted C at a show. No, nobody was chanting C. But we got me, we got DJ, and we got Cam, one half of a couple marks. So we got a mark, I guess. That works, I guess. But we're talking about a recent tweet that was put out by Hideo Itami, basically talking about how the fans, every time he does the GTS, they specifically chant CM Punk for that. And it's a thing that obviously is getting on his nerves. It's getting on our nerves just because all these fans, they claim they know everything about wrestling, all that. What they fail to realize is Hideo Itami was actually he created the move. He was the originator of the GTS in Japan. CM Punk basically borrowed it and used it. So basically, these fans are completely disrespecting Hideo Itami and what he's created in professional wrestling by chanting CM Punk. And we've brought up the CM Punk chants before, just in general. Anytime people start to chant during a match or during a segment or promo, it just completely disrespects who's in the ring, who's in the match, who's trying to do a promo, whatever. But did you guys have any initial thoughts on the tweet or The fans always chanting CM Punk coming back.
Yeah. I guess to address, I hate CM Punk chants anyway. Because I've always found it. At first, it was kind of cool, the fans taking over or whatever. But after a while, it just got annoying because I feel like he's been adamant about him not coming back, and I think more than anything, it's disrespectful to whoever's in the ring. I hate it, especially when during a women's match or a match that wouldn't even involve CM Punk in the first place. The first chant we hear is CM Punk, and I'm like, isn't that's so disrespectful to whoever's in the ring right now, putting their body on the line to entertain you or whatever. So that's kind of been my biggest issue. That was my biggest issue with the chants in general. But as far as the kind of Hideo Itami thing, I can definitely understand why it would be annoying to him. Just because, like you said, he originated the move, and it's I don't know. Fans are confusing sometimes, as we were once told on a video of ours, we don't even know the history, the accomplishments. So at times that kind of is what a true statement of fans. I feel like he's wanted to be feel disrespected and frustrated, but I think they should definitely make a storyline out of this. I think it would be a good way of pushing this heel Hideo Itami they were trying to push for so long. Um, Hideo, poor Hideo, that man got to stay relevant somehow because this man, only thing he's relevant for right now is getting injured. Like that's about it. This man, and it's unfortunate. It sucks for him, but it's true. Like it seems like every time he gets a big push, or every time he's about to get a big push, friggin' some sort of injury hits him, and it's like it's a stroke of bad luck. I'm surprised he hasn't been released yet because of it. So it's kind of a good thing for him, to be honest, in like a weird way. It's kind of a good thing. So I don't know.
Yeah, so I agree with you. I think first off, I think WWE booking is amazing. That you can be like this amazing heel, and then you go to the main roster and you're just a baby all the way through, like Bobby Roode and Hideo Itami, just like in the span of a night flip to just being like these babies. Like Hideo runs out and saves probably, arguably, the most over character wrestler on the main roster right now. And Finn, I just think that booking to me is hysterical. I'm not knocking it. I really, truly enjoy it. I think it's awesome. First off, I'll say my thing anyways. I think CM Punk was really good for the era he was in. I think he's incredibly overrated. I think he was the top of the heap when it wasn't as deep. When WWE wasn't as deep, he could shine. And I think in a class like this, I think he would be a mid-carder at best, but really good on the mic. I think he'd be a lot of the mid. So and also the CM Punk chants at WWE events is the equivalent of the 37-year-old guy on his cell phone at a sporting event trying to walk into camera frame behind the announcers talking and wave like this while he's talking to his friend. Like that's the CM Punk chant. Right? It's just five idiots that are drunk in a row that are just trying to get noticed, and they can go tell their friends like, "Hey, when the CM Punk chant started in the tag match, that was me, man. I freaking did that." Right? And like that's their claim to fame, so it's fine. Like, good for you, whatever. Like, if that's your life, that's your life. I think people need to take notice the fact that Hideo Itami actually invented that, as you said. Hideo Itami is also awarded with inventing the running knee that Daniel Bryan uses as his finisher and has for many years. They also account Hideo Itami for inventing that move in a sense. Also, the springboard RKO has been given to Hideo Itami as the originator or one of the co-originators of. So, like, I think people need to really do their research. I think, and a lot of it is, as Americans, we really have an awesome way of just being about ourselves. And like that's it. And like I fall into it. Like it's a thing, right? Like it's just our country, and it's not a bad thing, but it happens. Like we live in this box that's US or nothing. And people fail to go outside the box and learn the origins of certain things. So I think that also plays to it as well. People, WWE fans that aren't New Japan fans, don't understand the correlation there between the two, and that Hideo actually invented it and has been using it long before CM Punk picked it up.
Yeah, I'm gonna kind of jump in a little bit off topic of kind of what Cam said. I also was never in his, main event kind of run in WWE. I was never a big CM Punk fan. I was more of a fan of his, in his indie days in Ring of Honor, and even, his early WWE stuff in ECW. I loved him then. But then when, he got to the main, the kind of main events, it was cool to see, an indie guy that you had kind of grown up watching be in that spot. But at the same time, it always felt like, WWE didn't really want him to be there. He didn't really, it wasn't right. It just didn't feel right. But, and then as for, Chance, you're right. It's always those kind of five guys that are drunk, and that start Chance. I mean, and we can't even completely, blame it with the CM Punk chance. I mean, it goes farther back. We still hear the what chance.
Oh,
and
yeah.
The last time we even saw Austin on WWE TV, like, and it's always just the stupidest times. Like, they'll just chant just to chant, just like you said, to say, "Oh,
Yeah.
did you hear that chant? We started that." Like,
speaking of that too, and Casey and I have talked about this before, with the what chant. I think it kills a promo, like very easy. It kills a promo like that. Because a guy can be kind of flowing with his promo, and then they start the what chant to kind of screw him over. Even if it's a heel promo, like even if you don't like the guy, I think you still should, listen to him, and boo him. You can. I mean, I'm all for fans expressing themselves, but I guess I kind of want these unique chants again. I feel like we kind of get, there's like this wheel of chants, like 8 chants, and they just kind of spin it and see, because we get "this is awesome" all the time. Now,
don't forget you deserve it. Don't forget that one.
Oh God, you deserve it. And I think another one that was really cool the first time it happened, but fans have ruined it. Fight forever, fight forever. Like, I love that chant when they did it with Nakamura and Sami Zayn, and that probably wasn't the first time it's ever happened. But like, that's the first time I personally heard it. And there's matches that are okay, and they're like "fight forever." I'm like, stop it, just stop. No.
So, side note,
I just don't.
A couple months ago, we were in Orlando for Major Wrestling One Shot, and the co-main was Santana Garrett versus Mia Yim, and then Shane Strickland versus Ricochet. And some dude, like 30 minutes into the Ricochet Strickland match, just starts going like "fight forever," and Ricochet looks at him and just goes, "Shut your mouth." He was like, "No." like he's laying on the mat like next to Shane, and they're just like, it's one of those dead spots where like a big move happens and they're just laying there. And somebody's like, "Fight forever," and he goes, "You shut your mouth. I'm not gonna do that." Like, oh, it was great. And back to your point about the what chance, I think if you want a textbook way of how to kill a what chant, it's Alexa Bliss. I don't know what she knows, but she's figured out how to kill a what chant really quickly and get the crowd back. I'm very impressed by her being able to do that. But you're exactly right. It's the what chant. It's the wheel of, like you said, DJ.
Yeah, I don't, and obviously I'm an Alexa Bliss mark anyway. I love her. She's the greatest thing ever. But
so we do have a couple more.
Yeah.
I feel like, like you said, I don't know what she's done, or if she took extra time, in the performance center with promos, but she knows how to do a promo. She knows how to kind of stop those chants and kind of get a feel for the crowd. And I don't think people give her enough credit for that.
No. And side tangent. I think that, well, not side, but real quickly, I think that a lot of people got off her bandwagon when they did that sorry excuse for This Is Your Life segment with Bailey a few months ago. But think about if Alexa Bliss wasn't the one controlling that promo, how much worse that segment would have been. Like that segment was hot garbage all the way through, and she made it better.
Yeah.
Right? Like she was the only reason why instead of being like a flaming pile of crap, it was just hot garbage.
Yeah.
Yeah. Real quick too on the CM Punk thing, I'm gonna disagree with both of you. I actually really liked CM Punk. I don't know what it was. I think too. I think it was that realism he brought to it for a little bit. It was kind of that pipe bomb like that I know we hate now that like everybody tries to coin now too. But it's kind of that like you said, that pipe bomb type thing where I think he just brought some realism back into wrestling, which I think in WWE, in one breath, like WWE just didn't have at that time. There was nothing there that was like, this feels like realistic. This feels like something that like everybody could get behind. And I think for a lot of people, I think the reason why people want him back is because he was kind of that light for casual fans to join in. Being kind of the more realistic guy, kind of calling the company out a little bit. It felt a little bit like Austin, but I don't think it lasted.
Well,
yeah. So let me I love Punk on the mic. Let me go back and rephrase that. I love Punk on the mic. I thought he cut some of the best promos. He held the audience captive when he spoke. I always thought, as everything else, I thought he was a bit overrated for me. Like I didn't really much care for his in-ring work and stuff like that. But on the mic, like nobody could touch him back then. I mean, he was running circles around those dudes.
Well, yeah, I loved him in the ring too, though. I meant to mention that. I mean, I did. Now I don't think he's like the best. Like as far as like you're saying, like I think he can hold his own now. But like, there's so much talent right now, even in WWE that we don't even see right now. That I think it would be hard for him to hold his own. But then again, I think that probably was because he kind of adopted that WWE style after a while. I mean, because like we're seeing these guys now that are doing this kind of innovative things that they still got a little bit of their indie side in them. Well, he'd been in WWE for so long that I think he had adopted that mainstream kind of moveset by that point. So I guess we weren't impressed anymore.
Well, and I think, if he did come back, I think it would just be kind of a flash in the pan type of thing. Like he would have that big return, maybe one or two big matches, and then they would throw him right in the mid card again, and he would be out, I would say, within a year. And I mean, I think one thing I do like about CM Punk is he was one of the few that he didn't care. He was not going to take WWE shit. He was not going to kiss Vince's ass. If he didn't believe in something or if it wasn't for him, he wasn't going to do it. And I think that's why, he wasn't afraid to leave WWE. He knew he was good enough that if he wanted to continue wrestling, he could wrestle for any promotion in the world. Any promotion would book him if he decided to come back. I mean, he knows he's going to get enough money from his pro wrestling tees. He's going to get enough money if he wants to go back to UFC again. Like, he knows he has all these options.
Yeah, even just like from a documentary standpoint, like he's done enough to where somebody else can make a documentary of it, and he could definitely get money off of that, whether it be a book or a DVD. We saw it. I mean, or even a show on TV. We saw it with the UFC thing where they kind of documented kind of a little bit of his rise in wrestling, but it was more attributed to what he's trying to do in UFC. He's been on the Challenge as well. I remember seeing him on the not Chance versus Stars now, but the one before that one. So like I think he there were plenty of opportunities for him, and I think too it opened the door for other guys. Cody Rhodes. These other guys who have left WWE and been able to be successful without necessarily WWE's help anymore.
Yeah, and I think people just need to. Okay, I get that people loved CM Punk. That's fine. Love who you loved in wrestling. If they leave, yes, miss them. But
Roman Reigns, baby. Sorry, had to plug that.
But don't don't ruin it. And this kind of goes back to something that I forgot who said this, but I heard somebody say, you know, yes, you are paying your ticket to go to the show and have fun and enjoy yourself. But you have to remember, there are other people who also paid money to enjoy that show. So you don't have the right to ruin that show for them who paid as much money as you did, if not more, to try to enjoy a wrestling show.
Yeah, and that's like, you know, for people who may not be wrestling fans and may not understand what he's trying to say, that's like going to a restaurant and saying, "Oh, I paid my money, so I can treat this waitress like crap."
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Or like,
and it's so that happens so often more so than in any other sport or entertainment side. Is just it's amazing how you can be a magnet for the one jerk in the entire room, and he's sitting right in front of you the whole night. Like it's so easy to piss off a wrestling crowd. And you see more so than in like a basketball game, like everybody's pretty courteous. Like football, it's a little bit more of a rivalry, but it's kind of more directed. You know what I mean? Like you can get through stuff like that. But I mean, I swear, I am a magnet for just the biggest jerk in the room gets the seat right behind me. And I have to sit for 3 hours and just listen to him yell at the crowd for not knowing the difference between a knife edge and a backhand chop. My dude, I need you to shut up.
see,
Yeah,
So yeah, I mean, it's so easy for a crowd to ruin a moment or to ruin a night or something like that. And it's you're they're you're yelling at the wind. Like Punk's not going to come back, and if he does, it would be great. Ratings would boost. He'd get some time. He'd fall into a storyline somewhere. Like it would be good for the company if he came back. And if his music hit at the Rumble, yeah, I'd freak out a little bit. I mean, I'm not his biggest fan, but like that'd be a huge freaking moment. But it's people are just at first it was please come back. It was fans showing their love and appreciation for him, and their please come back. And now it's just like a punchline that everybody's heard the joke a million times. It's like the punchline's just not funny anymore. Now it's just annoying. Like I get it, the chicken crossed the road. Like shut up. Like
yeah, and I think it all boils down to, you know, we're all fans of professional wrestling, but you need to respect it. You need to, you know, respect the guys that are putting their bodies on the line. And it goes back to Hideo Itami. All the accomplishments that he's made, all the, you know, innovations that he's made to professional wrestling, and he's not getting the respect from the fans. He's getting CM Punk chants for a move that he originated. Uh, and it's got to be hard, especially with the fact that he's always getting injured, which is unfortunate. When he's not injured, they're giving him the worst storylines. I still don't understand the Cassius Ono storyline, where I don't get that. I don't know where they were going with that. But you gotta, you know, give him the benefit of the doubt. You know, enjoy his matches. You know, give him the respect he deserves, and it goes out with everybody. I mean, uh, I was gonna go on with you guys talking about, you know, being in the crowd. One thing that I hate, and going off topic again, the most is being in a crowd with especially during women's matches, when you have the two drunk guys behind you yelling, "Show your tits, let's see your ass," dude. Like that's the one I hate the most. But yeah,
yeah, I could understand that because, you know, in this like day and age, like you know, like I guess it would make sense for the Attitude Era, but now where like the women can put on just as good, if not even better matches than the men at times when we see it in NXT. Um, you know, I think it does get frustrating as a fan. Like, because I get frustrated, and this is kind of off topic too. When guys don't like the kind of the smaller guys, the cruiserweights, or like don't like the guys who maybe come up from NXT that they just don't know. They're like the unknowns, or you know, I get frustrated when people don't give them a chance before they just say, oh, you know, I hate them.
Yeah, I agree. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say that's one thing that I never get. Like, people love, you know, guys like Randy Orton and all them. They were new at some point too. Why did you give them a chance, but you won't give anybody else a chance? Like,
You know what's funny? And the same people who would say that they love Kevin Owens now. You know, they love AJ Styles now. Which AJ Styles is a little bit different, but Kevin Owens, you know, these other guys who came from NXT who are big now, Finn Balor, you know, guys like that, and I just find it funny. Like I'm like, your last mistake came from the same place, right?
Yeah, I think it's tough because you run into the problem of the majority. I won't say majority because I don't really know, but we'll say a good amount of WWE fans are only WWE fans, and so it's tough to bridge that gap from no, this guy actually did a lot in another promotion. Like you just didn't watch it, and now you're pigeonholing him to something you think is true because you didn't take time to go watch other wrestling. And so that's the problem that Hideo's running into is just, we don't want to go watch New Japan Pro Wrestling because WWE is the greatest thing ever and everything else sucks. So like, screw you guys. That's the mentality of a good portion of fans. And it's tough for him to counteract that. And especially in a time like this, you see him go, oh, he stole CM Punk's thing. Like, no, he didn't steal it. Like, do your homework.
Yeah, and the mentality too is like, what is New Japan? Like I always hear, people who grew up with WWE and even non-wrestling fans to a point, because it frustrates me sometimes when non-wrestling fans talk about how they grew out of it, or how I hate that one more than a lot of things right now. But and obviously one of our episodes is going to be about wrestling being fake and people growing out of it. But it always frustrates me because I'm like with the amount of indie companies out there now, there's something for you. Like that's the crazy thing about wrestling is it hits every single niche that you might be interested in. I mean, if you want that crazy hardcore, go watch CZW. If you want the strong style that feels like it's like the most realistic thing in the world, watch friggin' New Japan. If you want the kind of the more the storyline entertainment aspect, watch WWE. And that's kind of my thing. Especially when I talk to non-wrestling fans now. I don't really want to get on that too much because I know we're gonna do an episode on this. But like it's kind of like, why don't you go research what it is? Even if you are a non-wrestling fan, because a lot of times, friggin', I don't like The Walking Dead, but I would probably, I would, if I was like, what's The Walking Dead? I'd probably look it up to see what it is. I'm not a huge fan of it. Like I know it's this big craze, but I'm not a huge fan of it. But I mean, if I'm like, they're like, oh, this dude, I don't know. I can't remember any of the characters. I used to watch it, but I can't remember any of the characters. They're like, Luke did this crazy thing, right? I'd go up and look. I'd probably look up what Luke did, right? Like I look up what this man did to see, like, what I mean, like, why are people watching this? Why are people so fascinated with
it? I do think, a lot of it does have to be kind of put on WWE, and I don't think people realize because I think WWE drops the ball a lot with this. They did, give kind of a, granted it was an NXT, but they did kind of show where Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn came from. But especially on the main roster, I think they need to do that a lot more. Show the main roster fans where these guys came from, what they've done, all that. Get them accustomed to these new guys coming up. Don't just throw these guys on the main roster and expect fans to automatically be into it, because that's not how the main roster fans are. They're not. Main roster fans and NXT fans are two completely different animals. Like NXT fans are more like indie fans. They know these guys. They're at every show that you'll watch in the crowd. You'll see the same guys at the show every week because they're like that indie fan who goes to every indie show every week, or every month, what have you. Whereas main roster fans, they're not going to these shows. A lot of them, you see it on WWE TV. They still try to push the WWE Network because not everybody wants to sign up for the WWE Network, or even if they have the WWE Network, doesn't mean they watch NXT. So WWE needs to push this stuff more. Give us a reason to watch it. Like me and DJ were saying in the past, have some NXT matches on the main roster. Give us an idea of who these guys are before they come up and then they fail and then WWE gives up on them. If you introduce them to the fans, they won't. There's going to be a less of a chance of them to fail. People are going to know them more. And WWE just doesn't do that.
I feel like too they should use NXT as more of a journey. They never do that. Rarely ever do they use NXT as like their journey to the main roster. You know how hard they had to work in NXT just to get to the main roster. You know, because you got guys like, for example, you know, like you were just saying, Tyler Breeze, who worked his butt off, you know, on NXT, had to go through all these different characters to finally find the one that fit. And now he's on the main roster and kind of at times lost in the shuffles. You know, I mean, he's over, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you know anything's going to happen with him. And I think a lot of times they don't use that NXT kind of journey as like, you know, this is why you should watch this guy because I mean, just the blue collar attitude could get a lot of fans interested in him. You know, I mean, we all work for a living. You know, we all work all the time. You know, we all work, you know, 40 plus hours a week or whatever. You know, and I'm sitting down watching. I'm finally getting a chance to sit down and watch wrestling. You know, sometimes you want that guy that's similar to you. I think that's why a lot of fans gravitate towards Kevin Owens. You know, because he looks like a blue collar worker. He looks like that guy that like, you know, he looks like me. He looks like if I just walked into a wrestling ring, I would look like that guy. Now he's far more athletic than I am. Dang on it. I couldn't do a moonsault if I wanted to. But still, like, I feel like they gotta have more characters that, you know, they feel like they're like me. They feel like they're like you. They feel like, you know, that's why people gravitate towards people, you know, towards these characters in WWE or wherever you watch your wrestling.
Yeah, and I was equated because I'm a big basketball guy, so I was equated the NXT fans are the people that watch basketball for like defensive strategies and like offensive fundamentals in particular, like how is the defense switching, like are they using the screen and roll, like what are they doing offensively, and like the WWE main roster crowd is like, when's the dunk contest? Right, like they just want the big show. Like they want the All-Star game. They want 300 to 301 and dunks galore and you know, lobs off the backboard and all that stuff. And that's what the main roster wants, where the NXT crowd's like, no, like we want the fundamentals. Like we're here for good basketball. We're here for good fill in the blank, whatever analogy. Whereas like the WWE main roster fans are like, you know, just jump over a car and you'll be fine. So that's how I always equated to it.
Or get into a car and have it explode. You know, one of the
two. Yeah, right. Flip a car. Have Braun flip a car, hop on it, and then dunk, and we'll be fine.
Yeah, have Braun tip over that friggin' ambulance. Anything Braun's done at this point, like this guy is ridiculous.
Like he went head to head with a trash compactor and won. Like, let's be honest.
Yeah, he was almost killed by a freaking tractor trailer and just got out. Like, just was fine. Like,
just straight Terminator style. Just got out and stood up.
And I think, like I was saying, they need to promote and show the main roster fans more of NXT. I mean, we talked about the one NXT show that they did on the USA Network. And I was talking about how I was on Twitter and I saw multiple fans who that was their first time watching NXT and they loved it. They were glued to their TV. That should show you that, you know, yeah, it's going to take a while, but if you show the fans this, they're going to gravitate to it and then they're going to like these guys when they eventually do make it to the main roster. And you're going to have a lot more success with your characters. You're going to have a lot more success with your shows. You know, you're not going to have as many fans, you know, posting pictures on the internet of empty arenas and all that, because fans don't want to go to the show. I think the reason that fans aren't going to these shows is because it's the same thing every week. Even with the brand split, it's the same thing every week. And these new guys from NXT are more than capable of bringing something new to the table.
Mm-hmm.
Probably another episode of this that we need to do is freaking how wrestling fans don't even support wrestling, right? Like I've never in my life seen like a fan base. I mean, obviously you got your kind of your bandwagon fans. You got in other sports you got your fans who kind of they're just there for the wins. But like I feel like wrestling's the only sport, the only entertainment entity that feels like wrestling fans are always hard on wrestling, like really hard on wrestling, like not even like willing to even support what they claim to love. And like I'm just gonna leave it there because I don't want to say too much, but
yeah, no, that's true. And going back to the original point, like sometimes the best answer is the one that's right in front of you, and you don't need to overthink it. Hideo's first promo has to be the GTS and CM Punk comparison.
Yeah.
Right? Like that's the right answer.
It has to be, but I think the issue is, as we do get back on topic here, I think the issue is I don't think WWE will take that chance. And unless CM Punk is indeed coming back at the Royal Rumble or coming back in 2018, I don't think they would take that chance. Because they never even sniffed a mention of Goldberg until Goldberg said, "I'm coming back," right? And I think it's similar to this, where I don't think they'll take that chance on CM Punk because half of the reason is probably they're scared that fans are going to try to take over the show. But two, like I don't know, WWE is so not willing to take chances right now, and that's the big issue too.
Well, yeah, but if Hideo cuts this, you kill two birds with one stone. One, Hideo goes full heel on the crowd, right? Because once you piss off the crowd, like you're a heel, and that's how the game's played. And you get to set the record straight of like, no, I was actually doing pull a 7-second clip of Hideo in 2004 hitting a GTS on somebody, 10 years or 8 years or whatever before Punk used it as his finisher. And just say, no, look, actually, guys, I was doing this before him. You're all wrong.
Yeah.
I see you guys chanting CM Punk. You're chanting for a guy who walked out on you. Like, he left you guys when you wanted him there. He doesn't care about you. I'm standing here with my finisher, and you're chanting about some overrated hot piece of whatever that left when you guys didn't. You know what I mean? Like that. Oh, it writes itself. Like,
but I think
the fans are educating them, which they need to do, and then Hideo goes heel because he pissed off the crowd.
But I don't think it's necessarily a thing where WWE is afraid to take a chance. I think as big as Hideo Itami is, and as big as he was before he came to WWE, I mean, they his debut on NXT, they booked it like the biggest thing ever. But that was in a period when every debut that they did was the biggest signing ever. But
coming soon.
I don't think WWE sees him as a big enough star to really even pay attention to that, to be honest, which is unfortunate. And I feel like it's a lot with those, big, huge stars that they sign, and then they don't think they're as good as, you may have been this huge star in New Japan or Ring of Honor or whatever, but, now you're a small fish in a big pond. And I just don't think that they'll pull the trigger just thinking that he's just not. I don't think that they think he'll draw. It's the same as, kind of goes back to what Cam was saying earlier about Finn being over. Finn is hugely over, but Vince doesn't think Finn is over. So if Vince doesn't think you're over, that makes you not over, and then you don't get the push. It's just kind of, you're kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place. So You know,
but and I agree with that because I don't think Itami's going to draw well on the main roster. Like I'm with you. I don't think he's going to get there. But if you're questioning whether or not he can get over in the back, and you've got one bullet left in your gun, and it is coming out and just berating the fans for not knowing the difference between me and my GTS and Punk and his, why not fire your last shot? Right? Like if you're going to go out, at least go out. But you've got it there. Like, why not take a shot? And if he flounders, then he flounders. And a million other guys and girls have done it in WWE, and it just happened.
See,
but like, why not fire your last bullet?
I agree with that, and it's I think they're gonna go the soft way out though. Even if they do it, let's just say they do it.
Absolutely.
Let's just say they do it, right? They'll go the soft way out. They'll try their best to like skate around the CM Punk situation. They'll mention it, but they'll act like it. They'll act like, oh, I created this move. Don't worry about that other guy. They'll try to skate around it, and I think they should go right at it. And that's what I was talking about with Roman Reigns back when he got suspended. I said they should turn this man heel while he's suspended. Let him come out there and show how protected he is. And I mentioned that like a while, a long time ago when he was suspended. And I thought it was the perfect idea because, if you want to be edgy, you want people to watch, you bring this guy out who just got suspended for being on drugs, and you and you just kill the fans for them, saying he's protected, not liking your guy. And that's what I feel like they should do with Itami. Like you said, bring him out and go full throttle. Go as hot as you can with it, and let the fans just rain down all the heat that they can. Because I think what makes Roman Reigns such an interesting story is his reaction is just hotter than anybody's. No matter what, no matter if you like him or if you don't, he gets a reaction every single time he comes out. And it kind of just depends. If he's by himself, it's a boo. If he's with the Shield, oh, okay, he's back with the Shield. I like them, man. I think they got to do the same thing with Itami, and it will freaking he will probably garner nuclear heat for it, and it would be great. It would be exactly probably what he needs to actually draw on the main roster.
Yeah, and they're putting Itami with Finn, like you guys said, because they're so worried he's not going to draw. So we got to put him with somebody that's crazy over, and at least give him an opportunity. It's why they're giving Jason Jordan, Seth Rollins, and Roman Reigns and Samoa Joe every week, or some version of those 3 to 4 other guys with Angle. They're desperately trying to get him over. That they're putting him with these huge over people, just hoping that will rub off on them.
But I think one of the unfortunate things is I don't think that they will give him even the promo time to do it, because as we know, Hideo, he can speak English, but it's obviously not his first language. He's Japanese, and Vince, if he can't understand you or doesn't think you speak well enough, he won't give you the promo time. And I don't think they would give him the promo time. I mean, even Finn Balor, we've heard Vince say, he doesn't understand what he's saying. And I don't think Finn's accent is that bad. Like, I've heard a lot worse, but that's another thing is, how well you can speak. And
when you said that, I thought I like to dance. I like to pun. Sorry.
Yeah.
I love that man so much.
I think that's another thing that has to be taken into consideration. I mean, you could put him with somebody that can kind of be a mouthpiece for him, but then I think that would take away from him too. So it's kind of, I don't know. There's things that we want them to do with him, like the promo, like all this stuff, but WWE has their ways of doing things, and I don't see it happening. I just really don't. But
no, I agree with you.
Any final thoughts before we kind of?
This was a good discussion. I like the show already. I'm glad I came up with it.
I'm glad you guys let me be the inaugural guest host of this
I mean,
segment that will
this
take off.
might be a normal thing. Like,
I
this
think,
might be a regular.
yeah.
I mean, I'm down. Listen, I'm not doing much.
I mean, you're better than Justin, so that's good.
I mean,
Dang.
a
Well,
Rock would be better than Justin.
dang, that's not good. Yeah, I definitely want to come back for the wrestling fake one that you wanted to talk, like, have me on, and just
Okay.
and
We
I just
will
need like 5 to 25 minutes to make my rant, and then
Oh, don't worry. We have 5 to 25-minute rants in that too. So it's gonna be one of our longer episodes, I feel like.
Yeah, I agree with you though. I think it's on the WWE to make fans more knowledgeable of what's going on. But it's tough when in order to make the fans knowledgeable, you'd have to show clips of him from New Japan, and that's a no-no in Vince's eyes, using clips from, if it didn't happen here, it never happened kind of a mentality that he's got. And so that's where the problem that they run into. And short of having Hideo talk about it, I don't know what they can do to try and drive that point home. Or as you said, DJ, even if they try and drive it home.
Well, and I think, it wasn't Japan, but WWE had, a huge opportunity when they teamed up with like Progress and all these other, promotions from England and over in Europe, and it feels like they just never did anything with it. There was nothing. There was a couple matches at WrestleMania Access, WrestleMania weekend. That was about it. I mean, barely doing anything with the UK title. They had a huge opportunity with that, showing fans that there's other promotions out there, and even kind of they could have used those promotions as sort of a farm system if they wanted to make some sort of a deal with them.
Absolutely.
They just dropped the ball. But that was your first episode of the Overreaction. We will definitely be back for a lot more episodes of this because we got a lot of things that a lot of people do and say that we need to talk about. But be sure to tune in to our Slammy Awards coming up. We got the, I think, third annual. Is it third for us?
Third annual. I
Third
mean, we're
annual.
getting on up there. We got past the terrible twos. I mean, that was the hardest thing right there, man.
It was. The terrible twos were bad, but we got the third annual ICWP Slammies. They coming up. I think that's about all we got coming up right now, at least to the new year. I think. Well, I'm sure we'll have other discussions at some point, but
also we got stuff and things as well. I know it's on the list.
We put a list on Instagram. Everyone else was doing they 2018 goals and stuff, so we put our goals up there. So stuff and things on there. More interviews, so we're trying to get some more interviews. But if we don't see you guys, have a happy holidays and happy New Year. Don't do anything we wouldn't do, so which kind of opens up pretty much anything. Just try not to get arrested because you have to deal with that.
Yeah.
It's just not fun. Not that I have ever been arrested because I'm dating a cop, so I wouldn't do that.
You probably got arrested by her. Let's be honest.
Yeah. You ain't been arrested, but you have been in handcuffs. Hey.
I mean, not yet, but I'm waiting for it.
That's not how it works when you're friend zoned by your own girlfriend, Casey.
And with that, we will see you on the 5th. Oh, yeah.